5 silly things. Wait, no, start over. 5 silly things. That's just so not rock and roll that we're going to talk about because we're making fun of ourselves because I do some of these. Oh, kill me. Join us. Casino Guitars. Hey, it's Baxter.
And Jonathan.
We're talking about things that we do that are lame on stage.
Mostly everything.
Some of the things there's a lot of things. I mean, you could say rock and roll is lame now.
That's ridiculous.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, some of it is.
No, I mean, but rock and roll, the spirit of rock and roll is still amazing. So let's just.
Huey Lewis said it. The heart of rock and roll
is Cleveland
still beating. You know that song? What's that song? It's
Cleveland.
fine.
It's in Cleveland.
You're like,
I love
Huey
Huey Lewis. If you don't know who Huey Lewis is, do your homework. He's amazing. Doesn't matter if you were born yesteryear.
And the news.
Look him up. Okay, number 1. This was Derek's pull. Headphones. Talking about you, John Mayer. You can't wear your headphones with Dead & Company. It's not okay. It looks funny.
But it makes him feel good.
Why does he do it?
I don't know. Something about hearing loss and tinnitus and blah, 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 blah.
Well, they have these great little in-ear things you can wear, right?
I feel like, you know what? I watched him talk about it, and I remember there was like a reason. I just don't remember what it was.
I mean, I get it too. Like, I like the big over-the-ear headphones a lot better. They're really cool.
It does sound better.
Everything's about it. It just feels better. It's more comfortable.
But
you know, so, I don't know. So I was wearing like my sweatpants and my shorts, and.
But you remember? Do you remember like Paul Gilbert? Kind of started the headphone. He was doing.
God, I forgot he did that.
Time. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. Like, that was back in the day of like they were blistering their ears out with Paul. Like they were getting murdered.
I mean, and like you know, I've seen when you do those cool like you're recording live in studio and they do the live videos and everybody's wearing them. That's okay. That's kind of cool.
That is super cool, especially like the old ones like that have like the the little metal things and the black leather and then they're sort of like that dark brownish taupey color. Right. I like those. Those are neat looking with the little fluffy outsides. Number 2,
drum shields. Or even worse, the cages the drummers have to live in. And you're really in a place and they like literally climb in the little room. That's mostly churches. Maybe not rock and roll anyways, but
it's not rock and roll. Once you climb in the cage, it's not rock and roll. And I book a lot of shows where we have to use drum shields, but it's events where it's not a rock and roll crowd. It's for an older audience that doesn't want that type of.
Well, you can get those things just over the cymbals. I mean, I think the inference there is if you got a drum shield, you're probably not going to be. You're going to be kind of like. Very tame.
Well, I've noticed like they play harder.
I think that's true. Which
I want to get out. Like, it's just cool. You kind of need to because you are getting sort of sucked in there. And we've only had to use it for like pretty big rocking shows with a non-rocking audience.
I mean, there's a lot of the little smaller stages in Nashville that have drum shields.
Makes sense.
The thing that I hate about the drum shield, communicating with the drummer. It's really hard to look at him and there's that hazy plexiglass and you're like, blah, blah, and you're trying to talk and get his, it's just.
But you don't need to be communicating with the drummer anyway. He just needs to shut up.
Well, that's true.
And do his like, dance monkey. Just do your job, drummer.
It depends on how things are rolling.
They always roll. If you have John playing with you, it always works out well. That's
true.
John can do anything.
Also known as Roland J. Beckerman.
Is that his nickname or his stage name?
His stage name and his author name. For his cool books he wrote.
Roland J. Beckerman? Uh-huh. That's adorable.
It's kind of awesome.
I didn't know this. Okay, now we're getting in trouble a little bit.
Yep.
Number 3. This one came from Bruce Springsteen just recently. Being helped up.
Yeah.
It's just not right. I know. It's cool. Like, he's still rocking. I watched it happen in the show, and I was like, oh, no. And, like, I didn't know who it was because I couldn't tell because everybody's older now, and it was confusing. And they had, like, multiple people trying to help him up. I was like, oh, no, it's Bruce. Bruce puts on, like, 3-hour shows still, and he crushes it. Why did he fall? They had to help him up. No.
I mean, it's kind of surprising to me they had to help him up. He must have felt pretty hard. I didn't see it.
Well, the falling down that was the coolest is still Dave Grohl when he, like, broke his leg.
Yeah.
And then he finished the show.
Gets back up and
he's like,
jams.
So Dave Grohl gets, like, honorary award for life.
Was it
just being the coolest rock star?
I think we went through a phase there where with the aging rock stars where a lot of people had like falls off the stage. Didn't like Steven Tyler, Aerosmith have some
loving it elevate?
Yeah. I think there's been some issues. I mean, when you're
Post
rock
Malone
stars,
did that recently. Yeah. And he had canceled the show when he fell through like the
dude,
things didn't go back up. And he broke his ribs.
That was like screwing up in the staging though, right?
Yeah,
like
the stage prop team.
That looked horrible.
They wrecked that poor guy.
I saw some comments. People were kind of like, dogging on him for. I'm like, dude, let's drop you like that. And
You're like on a hard metal edge.
No, man.
Not knowing it's coming either. You're just like doing your thing.
God.
Seeing to your adoring 21,000 fans
But I mean, just generally, when most of your rock stars are approaching their 70s, we're gonna start seeing.
I know number 4 is going to be the same 12. Like, and this is one I sort of had some issues with because I like to sit a lot, but number 4 is sitting down.
I think it depends on the type of sitting down.
I like benches.
I'm just saying, if you're okay. So, I'm thinking Hell Freezes Over tour, where the Eagles all come out and they sit on those benches.
That's what I love.
That's cool.
I think
but that's really like cool. A moment, like it's on purpose, right? But they're not playing like rocking, like electric guitar and stuff, just like chilling, sitting there.
But it looks so cool.
I mean, it's cool in that context.
Joe Bonamassa sits down during his acoustic sets.
That's cool. That's like a moment.
Okay.
I'm just saying when you have to sit down because you clearly cannot stand up.
I guess it's not as rock and roll.
And I mean, hey, no hate on if you're older or have like some medical reasoning. I'm just saying it's a little less rock and roll.
I guess it's a little bit less rock and roll. I don't know.
Because rock and roll is like jumping around and swinging your head around and like.
I mean, there is that sort of what, but I mean, maybe it's changing though. Maybe rock and roll is this new thing. It is funny because I was looking up that artist Talk, which I like. Runaway to Mars, the song. I think it's a great song, great artist. I had no idea what this dude looked like. He's a big dude, and it's awesome. He dressed in this cool like glittery star outfit, and it's just not what I was expecting. And because you hear the song sort of blew up on TikTok, I guess, and it's become on radio now. And it's neat to see that happen. But this is not what a typical rock star looks like.
But is it as cool as Steel Beans?
No.
Okay.
No, but it's a bigger hit.
Fair enough.
But Steel Beans might be the coolest rock star out there right now.
I'd say any acoustic-y performance is okay sitting down.
Ooh, another cool rock band though, for real. It's a smaller band. Not really. They're small because they're not very tall. Called Hotel Fiction.
Kids? Oh no.
No. No, check out.
Totally different.
No, this band called Hotel Fiction. Like we met like one of their family members at Merlefest.
Okay.
And like one of the lead singers, I think, or guitar players, I can't remember. It's too confusing. But it's a cool. So we checked the band out. Like they're sort of on the up and up. So like if you haven't checked them out yet, they're an indie rock band. In the same vein as like what Sean's like Violent Exploit's doing here, but it's cool to hear like young bands that are doing something different, but still rock and roll.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's cool. It's female lead front people, cool. I believe as well. So it's I mean I know it is. I'm not saying I believe. It's a fact. Female led. It's a cool band. Okay, anyway. Number 5, this one's Derek's as well, but it makes sense, and it all comes down to Skechers. When we saw Snoop Dogg doing a Skechers ad,
shape-ups. that's the funny ones, right? Because it's good for you. Because
Snoop, he's not a young kid anymore, I guess.
Nothing's more rock and roll than good posture and health.
That's a good point. I mean, for our chronic impresario to be like sporting like that. I remember I had to wear some Skechers or something, or some some Rockports when I was a kid because they're like, oh, so I'll help your feet and stuff. I threw them in the trash. I was so embarrassed. We need to go back to those days. We need to bring bullies back. I was ruthlessly bullied, so it's okay to say that.
I'll be better. Yeah.
No, it's that outrageous advertisement stuff sometimes is a little bit not rock and rolly. Like I feel like the guys that really held the wall were like Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
And I think Nirvana was just like not interested in that stuff either.
I think back, and I almost hate to throw this out there, but I'm going to do it for the sake of this video. Do you remember Hootie and the Blowfish was over? And
don't say that again.
We didn't have, Darius in the way that he's like his country cool thing now.
Yes.
There was a time in between where he did these Burger King commercials. Did you remember that? And he's wearing like the cowboy shirt and the big hat, and he's like, it's with the king. It was.
I mean, he was searching for his place.
He was,
because that was like a time like when he's sort of a trendsetter. Like he was the first like transition to country. Like a lot of artists weren't able to do that back in those days, and he's like, check this out.
He's a super cool dude, and I used to love some Hootie and the Blowfish. And I still do some of the stuff, and then his country stuff is super cool. He just seems like a cool guy. But I felt like the Burger King commercials were maybe a low point. I think
it was a podcast. I don't know if it was one of those comedy specials. Maybe it was. It was one of those Bill Burr ones. Because I've been watching a lot of Bill Burr lately, just to sort of like catch up. Because I've seen him, but he was talking about how like when this new band's playing, like they're kind of like an old version of like a new version of like the Rolling Stones or something. You gotta go check them out. He's like, yeah, super excited. But like if someone's like, hey, this new band's kind of like a new version of Hootie and the Blowfish, no one gives a play. I was like, oh, that's sad because you're kind of right, I guess, because Hootie and the Blowfish was its own little thing.
That's a whole other like talk video, like how basically a frat band had to get enough songs and became like
the world's biggest band.
Like the world's biggest band. Like they're all friends and they're winning Grammys, and it's like, wow, it's pretty amazing.
What just happened? Like we were playing at USC, South Carolina, not the fancy Berkeley one, the proper one, USC, right. Gamecocks.
Christy will be happy about when she hears you say that.
Love Cox. That's their shirts say that.
They're cock crazy. Yeah, that's true. No, it's true.
They're big fans of the cock.
Yes.
South Carolina. God, we could just keep going for hours on this one. It's true. Just down there in Columbia. But no, it's so that's our top 5. We want you guys to add some more. We've done stuff like this years ago. We were talking like, shorts and silly things like that, how you're not supposed to dress. Just having fun and giggles, but add some stuff to like the non-rock and roll stuff to do. Somebody's going to say playing guitar. Playing guitar is probably not rock and roll anymore. Nah. Gotta press the sequencer. That's dumb. But I mean, like with the Skechers thing, is there any sort of like commercial / endorsement thing that is rock and roll that you're allowed to do? Yeah, maybe. I mean, because every once in a while you see like the really cool like car or perfume ones. Like, is that's maybe okay. It's like when you see like Matthew McConaughey like being like Estee Lauder. Or I feel like when the bands are like Jägermeister band, you know what I mean? Like, or when I saw Keith Richards doing like the Louis Vuitton, it's kind of tight because it's like that's kind of cool because I could never have Louis Vuitton. No. I'm not buying Louis Vuitton, so I'm like, oh, okay, you're a rock star, you have Louis Vuitton. No, it's like when your bag is like a $5,000 bag. Jesus, yeah, it's just it's not for the normals. No, like you, like me. Yeah, I could have one. It's true. One day. Thanks for joining us. Click like, subscribe. Hit the old bell. Join the Wagon Wheel Tour and come follow us on YouTube. You'll have a good time. It's a wagon wheel tour. I mean, it could be like a wagon train. That's what I was thinking, like a wagon, not like the song. That could be the song. Oh, shucks. You could tour and only play wagon wheel. Gotta murder myself. You just show up, play wagon wheel, and you're done. It's like that guy has an Instagram channel, like Only Wonderwall. Only Wonderwall. I love that dude's channel. It's hilarious. It's pretty fantastic. If you haven't checked it out yet, go to Instagram. It's just he's Only Wonderwall. Is that what it's called? I think it is, and it is indeed Only Wonderwall. He says Wonderwall over. It's fan-freaking-tastic. It's great. Hats off. I'm done. So anyway, here's Wonderwall. No, we'll see you next time. Wagon wheel.